So, how does childhood affect what love is to you?
Ooh, that's a deep question.
Let's dig in.
Well, the best way to answer this question for me would be to dig into my own baggage, which would be around how I learned what love meant or how I defined love while growing up. So, my parents were obviously, they held a major part in my life because I was under their care for the last, well, 2 decades. And during that time, when you're young, when you're a child, when you're growing up, you're like a sponge. You absorb what's happening around you. So growing up, when I was watching two people that were supposedly supposed to be in love with each other and head over heels with each other, constantly bicker and fight over the smallest, the tiniest thing, it takes a toll on you as a child. And even though in your mind you know that these are people that complete each other's sentences, these are people that are like they're supposed to light up a room when they walk in together, you know? You know all of that exists, but you also see the other side of love, which was for me, it was a marriage that was extremely not just traumatic to the people within it, but to the kids as well. And there was domestic violence in there. There was abusive language in there. There was, if you were to count mental health as even a topic in that household, it would be laughed upon. It was that. It was that bad of an environment for a kid. And for me to learn the definition of love from there was, and I mean, it's incredible how I even believe in love right now and call myself a romantic, because I've seen the other side of things. I've lived the other side of things. I'm the product of the other side of things. And yet, choosing to believe in it is sometimes in my head, it's a little bit like, are we sure? Are we sure we're there?
How did that affect you and your relationships?
Well, in the equation within my parents, as a child, as someone that's the youngest in my household, I was given the responsibility of playing the person that fixes the fight between them, that fixes the argument, that fixes whatever's going wrong and, sets it right. And being given that responsibility at that young of an age changes you for sure. And that, of course, fed into my relationships in future. So that meant that when I went out to search my perfect partner, again, the romance kicks in, I know. But what I ended up attracting was people that needed fixing, that needed help, that needed guidance, that needed that extra support. And I was constantly playing Deb the fixer with them, because that's the only kind of love that I had known. And here's what happens when you give your energy out to people. What are you keeping within yourself? You're giving and giving and giving. But here's the thing about some people out there, they're selfish. Their taking knows no end. How do you distinguish between, is this something that is going to benefit me, or am I just going to end up fixing them all my life? So I was in multiple toxic relationships, but all of which helped me grow and learn.
Let me ask you, maybe it's a bit of a tough question, but were you able to fix anyone? Were you able to change anyone?
I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Her name is Deb.
Oh, okay. I was
like, no, I mean, I think I reached a point where I realized that I wasn't put on this earth to fix people. I wasn't put on this earth to attract people that needed fixing. It wasn't my job to do that. It was their job to fix themselves. But what it was my job to do was fix Deb, see what was happening within me. Why was I attracting all these people that needed this amount of fixing? Why was I taking on the role of fixing them in the first place? I mean, once I dug deeper, once I reflected, once I saw the reason, it just made sense to not be that person anymore. Like, if I keep repeating the pattern, how do I break it?
My next question to you is, how are you now? So what's changed in you?
Well, what's changed in me, Tana, is my approach towards relationships, towards love, is more along the lines of I took a long break from dating. The reason that I took that break was because I realized that I was attracting all these toxic equations. So I sat down with myself. I asked myself these uncomfortable questions. I grew from it. I started my healing process, and once I started all of that, it led me to a point where I realized that if I don't keep myself happy, if I don't love myself, if I don't respect myself, if I don't value myself, how can I expect another person to do that?
Mm-hmm.
It led me down the path of self love. And here's the beauty about it: once you go down that path, you understand your worth, you understand your value, and you attract a person of that equal frequency who understands their worth and value. And
Mhm.
that's what makes it someone that complements you rather than completes you.